Welcome to the Bible Adventures Love Science, the show where faith meets facts and curiosity leads to discovery. You'll join our three brothers, Chance the cheetah, Drexel the dragon, and Liam the lion, as they explore God's amazing world together, with hands-on activities and lots of laughs along the way. So buckle up, Bible Adventures. It's time to dive into God's world and discover how science and faith go hand in hand. It was a rainy afternoon in the forest, and the three brothers, Chance the cheetah, Drexel the dragon, and Liam the lion, were cozied up inside their treehouse with blankets, snacks, and a table full of science materials. The sound of raindrops tapping against the window made the perfect background for today's episode of the Bible Adventures Love Science. Drexel the dragon stood proudly near a stack of books, a few rocks, some black goo in a jar that he swore was for science, and a small toy dinosaur. He had on his favorite lab coat, slightly singed from a previous fire-breathing experiment, and was clearly ready to teach. "Welcome back, Bible Adventures," Drexel beamed. "Today we're diving deep, underground deep, to learn about how fossil fuels form." Liam raised his paw excitedly. "Ooh, like gas and stuff?" "Exactly," Drexel nodded. "But before we get to the gooey, gassy, and glorious details, let's begin with a Bible verse." He opened up his Bible and read Genesis 1:29 through 30. "Then God said, I give you every seed-bearing plant on the face of the whole earth, and every tree that has fruit with seed in it." God gave us plants and animals as part of his good creation. Fossil fuels actually come from things that were once alive. Chance raised an eyebrow. "So you're telling me our car runs on dino juice?" "Well, kind of," Drexel said with a laugh, "but mostly from plants and microscopic organisms. Let's break it down." Liam scooted closer. "Okay, I'm ready to learn. But, does it involve fossils that smell?" "Not exactly," Drexel said. "The word fossil just means the remains of dead things from long ago. Fossil fuels are coal, oil, and natural gas, and they formed from plants and animals that were buried under layers of sediment." "Like in a giant sandwich of dirt?" Chance asked, chomping into an actual sandwich. "Pretty much," Drexel said. "So here's how it works. A long time ago, plants and tiny sea creatures died and got buried under mud and sand. Then over time, more layers piled up on top. With enough pressure and heat, those dead organisms changed into fossil fuels like coal, oil, and natural gas." Liam blinked his eyes in confusion. "So it's like nature's recycling system." "Exactly," Drexel said. "Coal mostly came from plants and swamps. Oil and natural gas usually came from microscopic sea creatures." "Wow," Liam said. "And now we use that stuff to power cars and cook food?" "Right again," Drexel nodded. "Fossil fuels are energy-packed because they come from things that were once alive and full of energy." Chance leaned back. "Okay. But I've heard people say it took millions of years for that to happen. Is that true?" "That's a good point," Drexel said thoughtfully. "Some scientists believe that fossil fuels formed over millions of years. But as Bible Adventures, we explore the idea of a young Earth. From a young Earth perspective, events like Noah's flood could have quickly buried tons of plants and animals, creating the right condition for fossil fuels to form faster." Liam's eyes widened. "So the flood wasn't just water, it was like a big earth mixer." "Yep," Drexel said. "Layers of mud and debris could have buried whole forests and seabeds in a short amount of time. The heat and pressure under all that could have helped form fossil fuels rapidly. So while people have different ideas about how long it took, we believe God designed Earth's system to work powerfully and sometimes quickly." Chance added in, "Mom also says that since we weren't there at the beginning, we don't really know. But God could have made an old or mature universe, just like he made Adam and Eve as adults and trees and animals fully formed, not babies. He could have made the universe with fossil fuels already there. Drexel responded, "Yep, that's another theory. It's important that we stay humble and don't assume that we have all the answers. Only God does." Liam piped up, "Right, but there's one thing we do know for sure. And that's that God created the world, and he did an awesome job." Chance grinned. "So basically, God knew how to make energy way before electricity." "Exactly," Drexel said. "And we know that it's possible God formed the world with fossil fuels already in the earth." "That makes sense," responded Chance. "Yep," Drexel said. "Now let's do a fun activity. If you're listening in a car, try this. Make a fist with one hand. Are you doing it? Okay. Then press it into your other palm as hard as you can. That is called pressure, and it's like what happens when layers of sediment pile up and squeeze down on buried plants. Liam did it with a growl. "I'm squishing prehistoric plants." "Now imagine doing that for a really long time," Drexel said. "That's how energy gets trapped underground. Later, humans dig it up and use it as coal, oil, or gas." Chance tilted his head. "But if we use it all, what happens?" "Great question," Drexel replied. "Fossil fuels are called non-renewable resources, which just means that they take a long time to form and we can't make more quickly. That's why we need to use them wisely and look for renewable energy sources too, like sunlight and wind." Liam looked out the window at the rain. "So God gave us lots of energy options." "He sure did," Drexel said. "And when we study science, we're learning more about how to take care of his creation." Chance grinned. "Okay, let's do some science. What's a cool experiment we can try later?" "Glad you asked," Drexel said. "Here's a fun one you can do at home. Take a piece of bread and sprinkle it with bits of leaves or grass. Then stack a book on top of it and leave it for a day or two. Then check it to see how the materials change. It's a mini version of how pressure and time can change organic material. You can even make layers with different things like flour, sand, or crushed cereal to see how they settle differently." "So I can make a fossil fuel sandwich?" Chance asked. "Only if you don't eat it," Drexel laughed. "Remember, the real fossil fuels took lots of pressure and heat." Liam smiled. "God really did think of everything, didn't he?" "He sure did," Drexel said. "From tiny sea creatures to the energy that powers your flashlight, everything has a purpose." As the rain pattered gently on the roof, the three brothers huddled around their table, imagining buried plants turning into coal and tiny ocean critters transforming into oil. Another science mystery explored, another glimpse into the power and creativity of God's amazing design. And of course, one last comment from Chance. "I'm pretty sure my belly is needing some renewable energy. Snack time, anyone?" The treehouse burst into laughter, wrapping up another powerful and slightly gooey episode of the Bible Adventures Love Science. Thanks for joining the Bible Adventures Love Science. We hope you had a blast, learned something new, and saw just how amazing God's creation really is. Don't forget, every part of science points to our awesome Creator. Whether it's studying the sky, learning about the laws of nature, or exploring in your own backyard, we can see how intelligently and creatively God made our world. See you next time, and remember, God gave you a mind for questions and a heart for wonder.